My TT is doing my head in. And that's all because of this stupid little light. I tried absolutely everything I can to try and get rid of that light and keep it away, but it just keeps coming back. And if I grab my Carly OBD reader, it comes up with this fault code. And the way I found this out is I plugged my Carly device into the OBD2 port in the car, fired up the app and scanned for faults. This is a cracking little device if you want to find any fault codes on your car or just check your car's health in general. It can tell you everything and it can do a lot more than just diagnosis. So if you want yours, click the link in the description down below or use discount code DOBBY at checkout and you'll get 15% off your purchase. I've also done a full video on the Carly device, how it works and how to use it, so if you click on the top right hand corner now, you'll see that. So now we'll click on engine, look at the faults and we'll see why the TT keeps giving me this stupid engine warning light. And after scanning the car, it came up with this fault code, which means bank 1 fuel metering system too lean from idle speed, which to me says that the engine isn't getting enough fuel based on what it wants for it to run happily on idle. So the first assumption I can make from that is maybe the injectors are blocked and they're not getting the right spray pattern, or the fuel isn't getting through the injector like it should be, or maybe that is a result of carbon buildup blocking the injectors on the end, so the amount of fuel it's trying to spray isn't going into the cylinder, and maybe that's causing the issue. And as you can tell based on the amount of times I said maybe in that voiceover, I don't even know if that's the problem. But one thing I do know is I've changed the spark plugs, I've changed the coil packs, I've cleaned the MAF sensor, I've cleaned the MAP sensor, and this is the only thing left really that I haven't done. And for that reason we brought it down here to Northwest Motor Engineering to get the internals of the TT's engine cleaned. So the first thing we need to do is get the car pulled into the workshop, plug it into the diagnostics. Next, the intake pipes and the air filter are removed so we can fit an adapter to perform a smoke test on the engine to see if there's any air leaks on the intake side of the system. So we've done a smoke test down the back and there's absolutely nothing wrong. There was a bit of smoke coming out the dipstick, but that's just purely because it's a dipstick, it's not really sealed that well. Everything else is pretty okay as far as we're aware. But we did notice right down the back on that flexi pipe there's a leak on the exhaust. So right down there, see where it's breached, there's a leak on that pipe, so we'll have to change that pipe because that can affect it as well. But other than that, I'm not doing too bad so far. So now that we know there's no air leaks on the intake side of the system, we've got to clamp the fuel line to stop any of the fuel from the fuel tank getting into the engine and connect it to the TerraClean machine. This is purely just so the engine runs off the cleaning solution and not any of the fuel that's in the tank. Once the engine's running, it's then held at just under 2000 RPM to flush out all the bits you don't want, and hopefully they're the bits that are causing this engine warning light. And during this, the diagnostics tool is still plugged into the car and it's monitoring all of the data so we can see what's going on. And whilst we were looking at this data, we were monitoring the lambda readings and we noticed something strange, but I'll get onto that in a bit. But now that the TerraClean's been done and the process is finished, it's time to leave the workshop and see if this has actually made any form of a difference. So that is the TT's engine fully clean and we finally got rid of that stupid engine warning light. But now that the TT's engine's clean, I think the car itself needs a clean because it is absolutely minging. But it still looks fantastic, even when it's dirty. But now I suppose the only real test to see if the engine is actually clean and the TerraClean did anything is to take it for the test drive. But one thing I do need to say is that may not have fixed the problem entirely, because when we were going around the engine after the smoke test, we give it a bit of a rev and we found out that in the engine bay where the flex pipe is, right down the back down there, if you can see, that has a big crack in it and I'm getting a really bad exhaust leak from it. And I found out from the technician doing the TerraClean, as well as all the info on the forums, that an exhaust leak can give you the running lean problem, and that's purely down to the readings the lambda sensors are getting from the primary to the secondary, and that's because your lambda sensors measure the amount of O2, oxygen, within the exhaust gases. This then tells the engine whether it's running rich or lean based on the oxygen content. If it's a high oxygen content, the engine thinks it's running lean, so it increases the fuel, and if it's a low oxygen content, it reduces the amount of fuel to allow the engine to lean out to get it to run the way it should. I think the reason we're getting the bank 1 lean fault is because these sensors are picking up on more oxygen within the exhaust gases, purely because of that crack. So because of the crack, it's pulling in more oxygen from the atmosphere, giving the sensors a dodgy reading and confusing the engine. If that makes sense. But one thing I can say with confidence is The TT's engine is on 135,000 miles, which is quite good for the petrol, and it definitely needed the clean, so I'm glad I did it anyway, and now I know where to start in terms of trying to diagnose this fault to fix it entirely, and the exhaust is the first place I need to look. But that's enough rambling on from me. I think it's about time we took for a drive to see how well the clean actually cleaned the engine. Let's go. No, that you tell straight away that it's a lot more responsive than it used to be. So let's put our foot down, see what happens. Yeah, definitely helped. Jesus. It's already so much more responsive than it used to be. You can actually feel it pulling yourself back into your seat. You need a better camera mount, phone bouncing all over the place. Oh, I've missed this. So we're just rolling in seconds. Yeah, definitely glad they got it clean. Because you put your foot down and it actually does something now, whereas before, you put your foot down, it'd be like, oh okay, I think I need to go, and it'd take a while, it's very laggy. Whereas now, you do it and it just goes. Yeah, I think it was a good choice getting it clean, but we do definitely need to fix that flex pipe on the exhaust, because that's quite a severe leak, and it's definitely going to end up causing that engine light to come back. The good thing is, now we've had it clean, we can rule out the injectors, because the injectors were giving me a lot of hassle initially, because I thought maybe like I had misfires, and I think that was from the injectors, because I changed all the spark plugs, changed all the coil packs, and I was still getting the misfires. So I think after that, the injectors shouldn't be a problem. Now we just need to replace the exhaust.
You know the drama is never ending. Don't let it get the best of you.
So now we're back down the unit, and the TT has improved massively in terms of how it drives, but I'm not convinced that engine light's going to stay off for long. Because although she's looking fantastic, the TT is still very dirty, it needs a good clean. And as I said earlier on, that exhaust leak is just going to keep giving me issues if I don't deal with it soon. So it just gives me an excuse to get a new exhaust for the TT, which I'm not that bothered about, because I was going to change it eventually anyway. But instead of doing a post-cat, I think it is, I'd have to just do the downpipe and go from there. And you know, downpipe usually means more horsepower and a much better sound. Going back down at the unit, I need to sort all this mess out, because there's stuff absolutely everywhere. And sorting all this out isn't just because I want it clean, because it does need a clean. There's a bigger reason behind it, which I'll tell you in the next video. So if you want to know what the bigger reason is, hit the subscribe button down below and hit that notification bell so you get an update when I post it, so you know what's going on and why I need to blitz the place. But as you can see, I think it's going to take me a very long time to sort all this out properly. So I need to crack on, but that's going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. If your car is running the way mine is, it's running a bit lumpy, you've got that bank lean fault, you've done everything else, you've tried your vacuum stuff, you've changed your PCV, you've gone through your injectors and you're having no luck, try a TerraClean, it might help. It's definitely helped my car, and before the process of the TerraClean is actually done, they do diagnose first, which is good. So we done a leak down test on the intake to see if there was any leaks there. There wasn't, luckily enough. But you'll have seen that all in the voiceover previous before this. But again, if your car is running lumpy, running bad, and you feel like it could be because of the carbon buildup, which the TT, the direct injection engine, suffer with, get a TerraClean. It's definitely worth the money. But like I said, there's still stuff to do on the TT, so stay tuned for that, and you can see how we do it and whatever else needs doing, because I can guarantee that's not going to be the only thing the car needs. That's going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. If you like what you see, remember to like, comment, subscribe, hit that notifications bell so you get an update every time I post a video, and I'll see you in the next one.